what you might see, and we haven't done this for a few years on the show for a while. We used to old time friends of the Gone Racin show know that we used to always have our buddies on. This week, though, we're going back old school. We do have a buddy again this week, Mr. Motley. We brought Mr. Ryan Preece.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No, we're excited to be. We used to do this all the time, Ryan. Have guys on the show, and look, it's difficult, right? It's a gambling show, and we got a driver. Oh my God!
Yeah,
the world has changed a little bit, but we don't tend to focus on that part on this. We want to talk more about your season. You've look. We talk on the show all the time about we focus on gambling, but what happens throughout the year? The first 3 races this year really were odd. I mean, I've been doing this my whole life. You've been doing it your whole life too, but. Super speedway, road course.
Yeah.
Had to be weird for the teams to have that weird. Like normally it was Daytona, then Martinsville, Daytona, then Vegas. It's kind of weird having that.
Yeah, it's definitely changed the game for us, as drivers, because the season, it's points now. It's not just winning you're in. So, these first 3 races being super speedway, road course, that first race at Daytona can put you in a hole really quick. And then if you go to it did and still is. Yeah. And for us, it's it hasn't been terrible, but it hasn't been great. We've had pretty decent days going, and then for whatever reason just couldn't quite execute it to finish it off. I felt like Atlanta it met my expectations. I said if I could finish Atlanta with a top 10, I'm happy.
Listen, and you guys in Atlanta,
we've heard that.
I that's the reason. Tell me this. Look, I'm an old guy. I used to love Daytona and Talladega with you.
Yeah,
Atlanta. It's not Daytona and Talladega.
So Atlanta is what they want Talladega and Daytona to be like, which is the massive runs, the big blocks, kind of like the modified race at Loudon, except we got 36 of them packed in.
Actually, that is almost what it's like, Jeff. I mean, when you think about it, I've watched that race forever with you and Newman and Teddy and all those guys.
Yeah.
It is. It's like it's haymaker. You slide job. You're going in and out. But you're doing it at what is it, 2:05 now or something? Or
something like that. And what I'll say is, it's basically like when you're showing up to the racetrack or the go-kart track with your buddies, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna smack this guy, and I'm gonna give him the door, and that's what it is. It like as much as we try to say it's methodical, it's a chess match, it's all this.
No.
All it takes is one guy to just throw it on in there and use you up, and that just. The gloves are off.
Well, I'm going to ask you this because you talked about the modifieds. Now, I'm a kid that grew up in Martinsville, Virginia, and one of my favorite race car drivers ever lived was Richie Evans, but I loved Richie Evans and Jerry Cook and the Bouchard brothers and all that, and you've made your name in modifieds before you moved up here. Is that still the most enjoyable form of racing for you? I mean, just to get in those modifieds and have fun?
I live and breathe it, man. I'm from New England, and if you're from New England, the Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, part of New Hampshire area, it's like modifieds are king. That is our World of Outlaws. That is our super late models. Like, that is it. So I love everything about them. And it's funny, as I've moved and gone to the South, like everybody likes, their super late models or things like that. And I've learned that they don't quite have the same respect for asphalt modifieds that I do. So it's been eye-opening as we've seen some younger guys come into the sport that come from the same discipline that I do. And yeah, have you ever run one?
So I've run one, but not like just a modified. I never did the New Hampshire with the plate modified thing, but I've run speed weeks down at Volusia with the dirt ones. I've done some of the New Smyrna with the pavement ones. Not often.
You got an open invite. If you ever want to drive one, I'll
you know how much you love that? I love the desert.
Okay.
I race Baja. I am happy in my Mexico races. You want to come I will be willing to say I could top you. You come to Mexico with me one time and you'll go, oh my God, this is crazy.
Okay.
But it's the same thing. I love NASCAR. I love doing what I did. But it's just, that's home. You get that different feeling and
passion.
It's the passion of it. That's what makes us want to do it.
You've raced almost a little bit of everything. What have you not raced that you would love to take a shot at?
USAC asphalt sprint car. I grew up, so I raced, quarter midgets, and then I raced Kenya midget out in Indianapolis Speedrome. Like, one of my idols as a race car driver was a driver by the name of Dave Steele. And I loved everything about USAC, midgets, sprint cars, silver crowns. Like, that was the type of racing I dreamt of doing. but I was born in Connecticut. I lived in Connecticut. I wasn't in the right part of the country. And, Bobby Santos, they were the ones that kind of went from Massachusetts and, did the traveling. And, my father and I were racing in Pennsylvania. I was 13 at the time. It was a winged micro on asphalt at Mahoning Valley. And I had a guy next to us. He said, "Hey, jump in my car." I'm 160 pounds. Haven't seen that since that day. And, I jumped in that race car, and that's how I ended up being in a modified.
A lot of us.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that since like 8th grade.
What about you?
No, that was, it's to me, that's the same feeling of out West. We did off-road racing, right? I mean, that's what we did. And a lot of desert racers went IndyCar racing. We didn't do NASCAR. I got lucky. The NASCAR Truck Series was founded. That's how I found my way there, was through the NASCAR Truck Series when it was founded. But Craftsman Truck Series, got to make sure I say that right. It's back to being the name I know. But that's the fun part of is you travel, you try to do these things, and now all of a sudden you're sitting at an RFK. I mean, an icon of NASCAR, right? I mean, when you think of the Mount Rushmores, of course Hendrick and Petty and team owners, Petty, Hendrick, these, but RFK is up there with it too. I mean, and now Brad with the K part of RFK. We've noticed on this show in betting wise, since Brad took over, I don't want to say took over, but since Brad got to RFK, performance has been way on the rise the last couple of years.
Brad, as a race car driver, influences, whatever we need to do to keep making our cars better. And I give Brad a bunch of credit because as a race car driver, that is incredibly difficult. It's what you want though. So racing, with Brad, with Jack, and then the Fenway group, we just have a great group. And what I really enjoy is I sucked at 1.5 miles and, being able to lean on Chris, being able to lean on Brad, I've gotten better at them. So between that and the conversations to be better as a race car driver, it's something I've enjoyed. So it's been great.
As a kid that grew up in New England, is it a little bit surreal that part of your ownership is the ownership of the Boston Red Sox?
That's wild. I'll be honest. So I threw the first pitch out at Fenway last year, and I've never been so nervous in my life. Actually, I can remember when it was like one of my first modified tour races in 2007. And I remember the butterflies sitting out back waiting to go. And, you're 16 years old, big thing. Well, I'm standing out on Fenway.
You're by yourself on that pitcher's mound.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, you want to throw a practice pitch?" I'm like, "I'm not wasting it." It's like the first ball, you know what I mean? When you're going to go golfing.
Back in the day, we had a rule. You had to throw your number.
Have you seen the YouTube video of Kyle Busch throwing it? Did you see the YouTube video Kyle threw out at first? Poor Kyle. I'm sorry, Kyle.
Let's not talk about the Kyle Busch
just Google it.
Go
to
okay.
YouTube.
Don't. The Sirius XM, don't scratch that. Don't.
Well, I have, I'm part of a couple group texts from friends from home, and they just felt the need to send me 50 cents, Taylor Swift's first pitch, like all the
famous ones. Yeah.
And honestly, like going to Fenway when we were on our way up, I wasn't nervous about it at all until everybody started asking me like, "Hey, are you nervous?" I'm like, should I be?
Why would I be nervous?
And then, it got to me. But yeah, no, it's really cool. And actually, I got a funny story. Jack Roush, I grew up swear to God that, Ford, I was born into a Ford family. My father had an Excursion, a Raptor, all the fun stuff. And so racing for Jack Roush is like a lifelong dream.
Yeah, that's what you want.
First time I met him and I was like, "Hey, I'm Ryan Preece." And he's like, "Hey, take care of my race cars this year." Like, you know what I mean? Like, you want to earn the guy's respect. And I felt like I've done that over the course of the past year. And it's been a blast to be able to drive for them.
Well, that team to me is with the 3 drivers you got at RFK. As an old guy that, look, I remember when Brad was working for his dad and uncle's team, and he tried to come drive at Orleans Racing for us back in the day, trying to get in stuff. I love what Brad has become. Chris, you and between, my old guy Harley Roush, who was my guy, Harley Roush.
Yeah.
Harley is no longer my guy. He's now Chris and Ryan's guy.
Yeah.
He always says my favorite driver, whether he's talking about Chris or Ryan. So he kind of stole my guy. But
We did.
To me, that is the team that if I'm talking about a driver's team of guys that just are really the drive, like Brad Keselowski, you, Chris, are 3 guys that I mean, I don't know if everybody could change a tire on a side of a highway. Honestly, how many of those guys could?
It was so funny.
I'm not that I'm. Did something happen? Is he laughing?
Yeah. So on our way here, I was actually coming from Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Okay.
And I pull out and I'm like, "Hey, Mike, Mike Massaro, and
Never heard of him.
Yeah, no. So we pull out of Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'm like, hey, Mike, did this tire always have 30 pounds in it? He's like, oh, I didn't notice it. So I'm like, oh, it's probably just a little low. It's like 4 or 5 pounds lower than what it should be. Well, then we get to the highway and it gets to 25. I said, Mike, we're getting a flat here. And then it just like, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Like I pulled over, I got excited. Most people are like, why me? I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this.
See, this is the fun stuff you get on Sirius XM when you get
We
to
didn't
Gone
know
Racing.
you had a flat tire on the way here. All right, we got about a minute to go. You finished third in this race last year.
How we feeling?
How you feeling?
I feel great. I feel like, I'm really happy to be a part of RFK Racing, and there's a lot of great things.
Like I said, we had Mike scared to death this whole episode because you're on a betting show.
We had to toss him a towel.
What was my answer, though, when we say, on your odds to win, you're 30-1 this week, Ryan Preece. What do you say?
It's RFK Racing.
There you go.
Great race car. Yeah, we're good.
You're betting on myself to win. That's all
Betting
I
on
say.
myself.
We're always betting on ourselves to win.
Yep.
Ryan, we really appreciate you coming in today. I know you got a ton of stuff going on, and having me and Motley, it's just we're just trying to have some fun. And
This might be the highlight of his weekend, Brendan.
I highly doubt this is going to be the highlight. And
We
if it-
actually hope to see you
I'm
in victory
hoping
lane,
this
and
is
we
not
hope
the
that's
highlight.
What I'll
the
say
highlight.
is I really enjoy you guys having me on. I enjoy the fact that a lot of NASCAR fans, if not every NASCAR fan, enjoys coming here to South Point. You guys have a great casino. You have great restaurants. So thanks for letting me come here.
Hey guys, your two favorite hosts with the most, Brendan Gaughan.
And I'm Jeff Motley. Thanks for watching this clip of Gone Racing. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, and click on the link.
Guys, we film every Thursday live, 1:30 on the Gone Racing YouTube channel and Sirius XM satellite radio. Tune in, listen to us, have a great time watching.
All the links are below. Catch you next time.